Hello, Algebra 1. Today we're going to look at 8.5 Part A. We are going to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. All right, so class, the quadratic formula is derived from completing the square. And we're going to get to completing the square later. I kind of have the order backwards on this. I apologize. But I wanted to get to this lesson before the EOC to give you a better chance. This formula is going to be on your reference sheet on the EOC. And so we just get to know how to use it. So the quadratic formula uses the coefficients in a quadratic to determine the solutions of the quadratic, the x values. Now, to use the quadratic formula, it has to be equal to 0. And yeah, the number in front of the x squared is your a, the number in front of the b term is your the number in front of your x term is your b, and then your constant is your c. If you don't have any one of these, you just put 0 in. All right, and by the way, they mentioned a can't be 0 because then it's not a quadratic, it would be linear. Okay, so to use the quadratic formula, get it equal to 0, and then just plug the numbers in. Now, to learn this formula, we would like for you to have this formula memorized. It's one that high school students across the country memorize. The easiest way to memorize it is to think of Pop Goes the Weasel. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And if you need to sing it a few times, sing it a few times. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And just keep singing it until you get it into your noodle. Your brain. All right, so again, to use the quadratic formula, you got to be equal to 0. You have your A, your B, and your C. And the first thing I do is just replace everything. Okay, I don't do any simplifying yet, but I'm going to get negative B. Notice how that worked there. Plus or minus. Plus or minus means we're going to get two solutions typically. Plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a, all over 2 times 2. And then what I like to do is I like to simplify here, here, and here. And then I'll split it up into 2 problems to get our answers. Okay, so here I'll get a 5. Down below I'll get a 4. Those are pretty easy. Here I could grab a calculator, or I could do this in my head. Be careful if you grab a calculator. Make sure you're squaring the negative with it. So this will be 25 minus, let's see, that'd be 8, minus 24. So we're going to get 25 minus 24, which is 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and square root 1 because that gets me a nice answer. The square root of 1 is 1. If it wasn't a nice answer, I'd leave it as the square root of the number, and then we'd go to the next step. Okay, so what we got is we got to do 2 problems here. We're going to have to do 5 plus 1 divided by 4. We're going to have to do 5 minus 1 divided by 4. One of our answers is going to be 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2, or 1.5. Either way, you would be good. On this one, we get 1. And that's the quadratic formula. It's sweet. It works. It's nice. It's pretty cool. And yeah, it looks a little messy at first, but I think you would agree that it's really not so bad. You will need to practice, get some reps in. All right, for part B, it's equal to 0, so we're in good shape there. X equals A, B, C. X equals negative B plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. Make that a -2. Make it down below a -6 plus or minus. I might do the square root. We'll see if it turns out nice. So be careful with your calculator here. What's going to happen is you're going to get 4 minus 4 times -3 times 7. When you multiply all those together, you're going to get a positive number. And so what you're going to get is, let's see, 12 times 7. So yeah, you're going to get 84 plus 4. So you're going to get square root of 88. And if you do the square root of 88, it is not nice. So I don't want to round my answer just yet. So I'm going to leave it as square root of 88. I only like to round at the very end. So I'll leave it as a radical 88. And then I'll do the 2 problems and I'll use my calculator. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get a decimal answer here. Oh, and just a heads up, what I do is I do -2 plus square root of 88, and then I hit the equal sign, and then I leave that in my calculator, divide by -6. And that way, I'm only rounding at the very end. I get -1.23 if I round to the nearest hundredth. So yeah, do this in your calculator, hit equals, then divide by -6. And you'll get 1.90. Now, something I should have mentioned when I taught this in class, but I don't think I did, is sometimes you get a negative number under the radical. When that happens, it's no real solution. You're done. You don't have to split anything up. Yeah, if you get a negative here, the square root of a negative says error. And you're not going to get any real answers here. So you'd write no real solution. If your radicand underneath the radical there is a negative. All right, and it's just, I remember that none of these examples cover that, so I just wanted to point that out. Okay, on this one, we're not equal to 0 yet. The quadratic formula only works if we're equal to 0. So let's add that 1 to this side. And now our A is 4, our B is -4, our C is 1, so X equals -B plus or minus square root of B squared minus 4AC. And then we'll divide that over 2 times A. Simplify in our 3 places, up front, down below, and up top here. So we'll get 16 minus 16. Okay, so we'll get square root of 0. The square root of 0 is 0. So class, yeah, we'd split it up, but here's the thing. 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 minus 0 is 4. We're going to get 2 of the same answer. Our answer is 4/8, or 1/2. And you can think of it as we actually get 1/2 as an answer twice, which is kind of interesting. All right. That actually has some meaning when we're graphing. Okay, so our last example, maybe, yeah, it's our last one. Get it equal to 0 first. The constant always goes at the back. Simplify there, simplify there. Maybe grab a calculator. I get 16, but the square root of 16 is 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna get 4 right there. And then, yeah, I got my 2 problems. X equals 6 plus 4 over 2, which gets me 5. X equals 6 minus 4 over 2, which gets me 1. And I got my 2 solutions. So yeah, that does it. Quadratic formula. Have a great day.